Hi there, you're watching Caffeine TV and I'm your host Konishmo_developer. Welcome to the last episode of the Kodular Basics series. We started this series with a first look at a service called Kodular. Subsequently, we explored the basics of how to add user interaction to our app, how to test our app, the different types of blocks we'll be using in our apps, and the component properties. That's pretty much all you need to know to be able to create apps with Kodular. For this last episode, I have something different in mind, in that it's not a concept we'll be using in app creation, but it's something that will help us when we are creating the apps. Because like any other form of programming, efficiency is what matters. And yet another life pro tip, be efficient. Being efficient allows you to get more work done with less effort. And just a personal opinion, don't give more effort where you don't need to. Conserve energy. Anyway, we'll click this account button and you'll know what we're doing in just a few seconds. And we'll click settings. Now we have access to the creator settings. This is what we're looking at today. This allows us to customize the Kodular Creator to be able to create apps more efficiently. First up, we have the editor preferences. Use percentage values by default. I generally keep this turned on since percentage values are very convenient, and in most cases you will be using percentage values since something that occupies 20% of a screen will occupy 20% of any screen. However, if a component occupies say 150 pixels, then it will be quite large on a small phone but tiny on a large tablet. So in most cases you want to use percentage. However, in some specific cases you do need to have the absolute value. When that happens, just type in the numerical value, then px without spaces, and you'll have absolute sizing. Otherwise, if you just type in 20 and then press enter, the component will take it as 20%. Very convenient. Next up, show experimental components and properties. I'll turn this on because we have access to some stuff that is not guaranteed to work, and by turning this on you are acknowledging that you are willing to face problems. However, some of these features are very convenient, and as long as you know what you're doing, and you will know what you're doing since you're here and I'm here, so yeah, just turn this on and we're ready to rock. Next up, save custom colors as project colors. What this does is when you set a custom color for a component, that color will be remembered and it will be easier to reuse colors in your app, because in most cases you want to limit your color palette and use the same few colors, and you need to make sure that the colors complement each other. But color choice is a discussion for a whole nother video. Just like that, we're done with one category of preferences already. Next up, keystore. A keystore is currently being used to sign your APKs. Imagine your app is a letter you're writing to devices. When a device receives the app, it needs to be sure who sent the letter or the app. And what do you do to letters to assure the receiver that it's you? You sign the letter. The same thing happens with APKs. Before distributing the APK, you sign it with your unique keystore. That keystore is hashed with a SHA-1 algorithm, and this is the hash of the keystore we use to sign PR1's APK. When you first export an APK with Kodular, a keystore is automatically generated. Now this overwrite keystore button, well, if you already have a keystore that you want to sign your app with, say you're migrating from another builder or by some other means you have a keystore already, well, you can just click overwrite keystore, upload your old keystore, and your current keystore will be overwritten. If you want to have access to both the keys, you must export the keystore, and that will export the android.keystore file to your computer, and then you should keep it safe because Kodular cannot recover lost keys in most cases, and since it's your identity as an app developer, it should be guarded. Needless to say, do not share your keystore with anyone. You can safely share the hash. However, don't share the keystore itself. It can be used to impersonate you, and say I exported the keystore and gave it to you. Well, you would be able to pose as Caffeine software. That's not something we want happening. do. If you want, for some reason, you can also delete the key store. However, I would still recommend having at least one backup just to be safe. Now we are at the languages section, and you can set the language to your local language if you want. I'm comfortable with English and we'll keep this at English US. If you are good at English and Kodular is not available in your local language, you can also help translate Kodular, and there you can contribute translations for different strings, and who knows, maybe in the future, Kodular Creator can support your local language. You can also click info for the information regarding the creator. You will get the build date, the version, the companion version that is supported, links to the privacy policy, terms of use, all the companion, attributions, all that good stuff. We are interested in appearance now. Here we have the theme. If you like coding at night, you will be glad to know that there is a night theme. Doesn't this look good? Personally, since the light theme is the default OG theme for Kodular, I like to use that. However, the dark theme is just refreshing sometimes because it puts much less strain on your eyes. However, as you have probably noticed, there are some contrast issues, and I personally do not prefer the night theme. I don't dislike it, but I love the light theme. This is a weird one. I do not have words to describe this, and you just have to see this for yourself. Actually, I do have one word. Why? Anyway, let's not linger on this admittedly weird theme. We'll go back to light. And now, out of these three, choose whatever suits your tastes best, whatever your eyes find comforting. I personally love the contrast that's there in the light theme. The night theme is a bit too high contrast for me. However, your opinions and preferences will vary, and that's the beauty of it. You have the choice. Next up, display. This is a great feature that allows you to have an optimal development environment on screens of many different sizes. Some people use Kodular on their phones, but I personally would not recommend that. Phone screens are too small. You generally don't have peripherals with your phones like a mouse or a keyboard, so you will be poking at the screen with your finger, and a keyboard will take up half the screen. It's really not optimal. At least go for a tablet. I personally have used Kodular and other builders on my tablet for long periods of time, and that's a really good experience, especially when you throw in a Bluetooth keyboard and a mouse. However, I'm currently on a laptop and the experience is really good. You have to realize that the creator gets quite heavy with larger projects, and having a powerful laptop or a desktop will help immensely with how responsive the Kodular Creator is when you're working with larger projects. And we will be working on larger projects. However, if you're on, say, a 13-inch laptop or a 14-inch laptop or a tablet, like I just said, you could turn this on. Use compact display layouts, and you'll notice more stuff is visible. The text boxes are shorter, everything is shorter, and you just see more. Here I'm just zoomed out, the blocks aren't getting smaller. However, the blocks area is untouched other than the categories being squashed a little bit. The designer is mostly where the changes take place, and it's really helpful on smaller screens. We'll go back into appearance and enable performance mode. And this setting, unlike the previous one, affects the blocks area and not the designer. Do you notice anything? No? Well, it's quite subtle, so I wouldn't blame you for that. Look at these small white outlines. These weren't there before, were they? What the performance mode does is it reduces the amount of rendering work your machine has to do on the blocks area. This makes Dealing with large quantities of blocks, as in thousands of blocks, a more bearable experience than without performance mode. Keep in mind, if you have a powerful machine with a good graphics card and hardware acceleration is turned on in your browser settings, then you will get decent performance even with larger block numbers. However, for that little bit of extra performance, that setting exists. I'll turn this off for now because we aren't working on huge projects right now. And I'll also turn off compact display layouts since the default layout is good enough on my laptop. And as you can see, the white outlines are gone. The blocks look better, but they will perform a little worse. You can't notice this right now because there's just 5 blocks here. However, the resource usage does scale up quite quickly. That's it. We are finally at the end of the Kodular Basics series. When I see you next, it will be a different series, but the same me, the same going off on tangents, and the same having fun together, learning and exploring. I hope you enjoyed watching the video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe for more content, and I think you have to hit the bell to be notified or something. I don't know, you know it better. Share the videos with those who may need them. You know the drill. I personally really enjoyed creating this series, and I hope to create more quality content. At least I hope it's quality content. And before going off on a tangent again, I'll take leave. Happy coding.